Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are here with Tony Biel out of Los Angeles. How are you, Tony?
Good. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, it's so great to see you again. It's been a long time.
I know you
And
moved
but
away from
no,
us.
what's that?
You moved away from us.
I know, I know, because I used to go on some of the hiking tours that you used to lead, and I was even when I moved away, I was able to vicariously live that hiking life in the hills around Los Angeles through you.
Yeah, it's definitely like how I've met like a lot of people while I've
Yeah,
been in LA through my hiking group.
yeah,
Take a hike. Yeah, I mean, that hiking group's been around for 16 years.
yeah. It was just growing up in Southern California and even Runyon Canyon and all those places you go to, they were a big part of my life. So it was uh,
Well,
it was a good
I'm
time.
glad we met that way.
Me too. But no, what we'll do is we'll come back to that a little bit. But a big part of what you do, you're director of brand partnerships at Flipboard, and the first to say Flipboard is one of my favorite apps. It's I use it several times per day. I hope you don't monitor and check because otherwise you're gonna be like, this guy's crazy. But I really love what you guys have put together there.
I can't see what you're doing really. I mean, I guess I could if I followed you, I could see like what kind of stories you're flipping and reading. But yeah, I mean, I was excited. I came on board last October 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and I've been a Flipboard user for 10 plus years, pretty much since it started.
Yeah.
I think I downloaded it to my iPad because that's when it first launched. It was on iPad. And when the sales row opened up, I was like, oh my God, I want to work at Flipboard because I've just loved the product for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm here on the West Coast, helping lead brand partnerships on the West. And I've worked with brands to help them amplify content and engage with our users with our first party interest targeting.
Yeah, but they have a strong D&I initiative at Flipboard and that LGBTQ. I don't even know what you call it, but that entire group that's built in there. It's huge. You've got a lot of followers on that.
Yeah, we have a really strong team focused on just making sure that, minority voices are being heard on the platform because a lot of times, algorithms sort of affect how different diverse voices are sort of amplified through the platform. So we have a really strong editorial team as well as a team that's focused with the algorithm and bringing on publishers as well. We did a huge initiative in I want to say it was the end of 2019, early 2020 that was focused on bringing in local pubs too. So
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of the smaller local publications that are, for focused on the LGBT community and other, Latinx and Black community, Asian community, a lot of those were brought onto the platform as well when that happened.
yeah. No, from everything I've seen that you're doing at Flipboard, and then from previously knowing you with the hiking groups and so forth, I've always kind of seen you as a true leader in our
Oh,
community. As
thank
far
you.
as if something's not being done, you're going to roll up your sleeves and go out there and make it happen.
I try. I like to get involved. My get it from my parents. They've always been really involved in the community, and
Yeah.
so
But then that segues into this huge thing you've created. What now? 13 years ago, Gay for Good. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. So I mean, going back to the hiking group, I mean, I had two hikers, Frank Roller and Steve Gratwick, that approached me, and they were like, my list at the time was a few thousand people
Yeah.
signed up for the hiking group. So we were looking at that, and we were trying to figure out how we could get people involved in the community doing volunteer work, maybe one Saturday a month or something like that. And around that same time, we lost Prop 8, for marriage equality in California, and the movie Harvey Milk or Milk came out. And it kind of, as I was thinking about how we're going to do this, volunteer project or group, um, I saw how, Harvey Milk was able to win the Castro by basically, he tried many times to win, but when he was just focused on the LGBT community, he wasn't able to win.
Yeah.
But once he started to realize that he needed to engage, the seniors, the Catholics, the unions, and other people within the community, that was like when he finally won. Um, so I was like, if we do, a volunteer group, I want to make sure that it's something that, engages outside of the gay community or LGBT community and like works with other nonprofits and other organizations. So they get to know us, we get to know them, and it starts to build more community and build bridges, if you will.
Yeah.
So that they, when we have other initiatives come up later in the future, when Prop 8 or marriage equality would come up later in the future, we would be treated more fairly and like people that they know and respect. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it came about.
That makes sense. A big part of everything is, in some ways, it's education. It's just the more people know, and especially in nowadays where we've been connected for so many years, but now we're kind of engaged with each other. We're collaborating through all these tools of social media and so forth. And so there's a lot of opportunity to really be able to kind of just without messaging, without being too messagey or something, but just letting people know this is who we are and this is what we're up to.
Yeah. And we started in LA, and I like I was telling you earlier, it's like we're in 18 cities now.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 different chapters near you that you can go volunteer with. But we're really focused, I think, we were kind of in the stage of focused on growing in, 2020, and then COVID happened. But I think 2022 will, I think, really be a good, strong year for growth for us. And we just launched a chapter in Arkansas. And I feel like another area for us is really kind of expanding into the South.
Yeah.
So if any of your listeners know people interested in starting a chapter in their community, they can get more information on Gay for Good at gayforgood.org.
Yeah.
For is spelled out FOR. And, we're looking at generally our founding chapters were requiring, a good diverse group of people, generally 5 people from one of the LGBTQ kind of groups. We also include allies. Our board chair, she's trans. So it's great to see the evolution of Gay for Good too over the years to really, be more inclusive within our whole organization as well.
Well, someone who's a very strong friend of our entire team here is Brad Furr from Palm Springs, and he led the chapter. He started the chapter there as well.
Yeah, in Palm Springs. I've been bothering him ever since he moved out to Palm Springs, so it was finally great to get him to step up and do it. But I feel like he wanted to get settled first. But I mean, the funny thing is like we've been able to expand through the years through oftentimes people that were part of my hiking group that had been in LA and then moved to other places. I mean, that's kind of how we started DC with Peter Morgan. And, it's been just cool to see like the growth of the organization through just, word of mouth and who we know.
Yeah. I did see when you were talking about the organizations you partner with, I saw that you guys do things with Habitat for Humanity, as well as I saw you even AIDS LifeCycle, the ride that's going to go on next year.
Yeah, we do a variety of stuff. I mean, like I said, we have 18 chapters, and, each chapter pretty much has the ability to choose, organizations within their local communities that they want to support. We try to do stuff with different groups from like a sort of harkening back to the Harvey Milk, seniors, animal groups. We do stuff with food insecurity. We do stuff with park systems, military organizations, churches and religious organizations. I mean, it runs the gamut. I mean, each, like I said, each city is very different in what they have available. Habitat for Humanity, some of the other larger organizations like Habitat do charge now. So that's becoming a harder thing. So we have to sometimes fundraise to volunteer with some of these organizations. But that's a whole, future of volunteering, I guess. But it's hard to get, it's large groups too. I think as corporate groups kind of and religious groups go into doing a lot of these group volunteer projects, they have the money that they can then bring to fund larger projects. But yeah, the size of the volunteer projects too varies anywhere from like 10 to 20 to 50 to 100, depending on what we were able to secure with the organization we're partnering with.
Yeah. Well, speaking of AIDS LifeCycle, I don't know if you're going to be up there, but my husband's actually part of this group here in New York, Out Cycling, and their entire group, they've put together a team, and they're coming out there to San Francisco and doing the ride, and I'm going to be there as well. So I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to be a formal part in a roadie and be in that, or if I'm just going to drive down along the way. So hopefully we'll be able to connect along when we're up there.
We generally for them do the, I think our San Francisco group does the send off.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times we'll do the, when they come into LA, we'll help with all the gear and that kind of stuff. We generally don't do along the way, but we do have Gay for Good volunteers that do the ride as well. So
Yeah.
I know that that's happened. I've done 2 AIDS rides when it was back in the days when it was AIDS ride and I was younger and I could do longer bike trips. But it's a great experience.
Yeah.
The California one's like a 6 or 7 day ride, which is definitely a commitment.
Oh yeah, they're training for it, so it's not something I'm going to be doing. But I am looking forward to being there. And like I said, though, it'd be kind of nice to, yeah, when we're back down in LA, I plan to stick around. And if you're part of all that, it'll be nice to reconnect with you there.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, mostly I'm just really glad you're able to take a few moments of your time and share some of your story of what you've been up to and what you guys are working on. And like I said, look forward to being able to reconnect soon.
Sounds great. Yeah, good chatting with you.
Same here. Thanks again.
Feels good, so good.